Exactly. Exactly. So, starting out, lighting the barium one first, you'll note a variety of colors there. Most of the colors are impurities there. Barium does not show up very well, but that color there that we're getting finally, the
green
color there, the blue-green, or excuse me, the yellow-green there is barium. And this is barium chloride. These are all the same salts you used yesterday. Next, much prettier green. This was probably the hardest one to see yesterday because it is such a faint pale green. But that one there is boric acid, or boron. Oh, that's disappointing. There we go. There we're getting some color to it. That's better. The next one, probably one of my favorites, strontium. Strontium.
What is it?
Strontium. SR is its symbol. The blue, of course, is the methanol flames, the alcohol burning. And so it takes a while for some of the alcohol to burn off before it starts picking up some of the metal and burning some of the metal ions in there. But this one here is calcium. It burns with a real pretty orange flame. Next, after some of the alcohol burns away, there we start to see it. Another red flame. Real quick, if you look back and forth between these two, you can see a difference in the shades of red. This one probably a more pink or purple red, whereas this one's probably a deeper crimson. This here is lithium, Li. This next one is what gives our sun its yellow color. This is sodium. Sodium is found in our sun. It's one of, I believe, one of the 5 most abundant elements in our sun. And it is what gives the sun its, again, its orangish yellowish color that we see. It's actually the sodium that we see primarily. You can see some licks of it on the edge, and there we go. A green flame. Notice probably a more muted green than the boron back here was, but certainly a deeper green than the barium back here was, the yellow-orange one. This one here is copper. And copper burns a blue or a green depending on what type of copper it is actually. What type of copper ions are there. Or a mixture of blue-green if both of them are present. And the last one, which was your unknown yesterday, here in a moment we should see once the blue fades away. This is probably the actual faintest, no matter what situation we burn it in, whether we burn it here or with the wood splints like yesterday. But this orangey purpley color, frequently called a lilac, is potassium. K+ ion. So hopefully you guessed potassium as your as the unknown. If you didn't, it's all right. There's not a lot of points to be lost in the lab for guessing incorrectly. But this is what it looks like to burn some salts. Now,
how many were there?
8 total. There is a possibility that some of the colors won't show up here. There is a possibility that the colors have been used, but I am going to try to relight this here in a second. What is burned away is not the salts, although some of the salts are used up as we burn, but what is run out here is actually the alcohol. And we'll talk later about some things that affect chemical reactions. One of those is running out of materials.
Like a bartender.
Does your camera pick up sound too?
Yes, it does.
Oh!
Yeah. Heck of a bartending job right there.
So, again, bright orange barium, bright green, boron, some of the red carrying over in there is strontium, calcium here. This one here not showing up too well. This is the lithium, but it's that reddish color there. The oranges are impurities from the sodium.
Whoa.
There's one that did break. That is a glassware that breaks. That's why we wear safety equipment even when we have good glass. That was the, looks like the potassium one that broke there. The copper here, I'm running out of the salt already. The crystals are pretty big on that one, so it actually takes quite a bit of effort to burn properly. But that's the green color. And still this lilac color here is the potassium. Now, my potassium is also the most impure of all these. I burned several different salts. This one here, though, I bought over the counter. This is sold as no salt or sodiumless salt. For those that have sodium problems, frequently those that are diabetic have sodium problems, and so they sell no salt. And it's not pure potassium chloride. There are some other chemicals in there as preservatives, as well as another potassium compounds. That's where some of the miscolorizations come from as well. We're down to just our 3 now, but our lilac potassium, our strontium, which is my favorite, so I'm glad that one's still going. And down here, this one is really just the alcohol burn. The salts are all gone. But I did break here a watch glass. Again, a watch glass is just a glass of...
Oh, wow.
I'd say that one's going to go longer.
Nowadays.
Obviously, there's some alcohol underneath of the broken
Is that
glass.
the table or
what?
what?
It is actually burning on the table, which is why I mentioned I do have a fire-resistant tabletop. What has happened is some of the alcohol has, when this broke, spilled underneath of the watch glass. And so now we are actually burning out the alcohol, the excess alcohol that is on the tabletop. The best thing for me to do would be actually flip this, but because it's so hot, I won't touch it like that. Plus, there's broken glass there. But you can see I'm getting little licks of flame underneath there still. So I still have a little bit of alcohol. So what's going to have to happen is I'm just going to have to wait till it cools off, flip it over, and then let it cool again. But please be careful. It looks like I have one piece of glass here on the edge of the counter, so there's a possibility of some glass on the floor as well. So please be careful with that. But we'll see here if we can't get it to light one more time.
What was the ridiculously bright thing you had yesterday?
Ridiculously bright thing I had yesterday.
Whenever we're throwing those things in there,
Kryptonite.
Oh.
Dousing that stuff.
I will wait until we do the lab there.
See, like,
I don't like to do it.
I like
Again, 2 pretty red colors, strontium and lithium. Calcium is the orange, sodium is this yellow orange. Notice calcium is a little bit deeper of an orange. I'm going to try to do some comparisons here. Notice this red's a lot lighter but brighter. Lighter in terms of the deepness of the shade, but brighter in terms of its vibrance than the strontium one here. Boron here is still burning a very bright green, but more of a limey green or maybe a seafoam green compared to the copper oxide or copper color. Copper oxide, when the Statue of Liberty, copper when it goes bad turns green. That's what you're seeing here. And barium, of course, here again being a yellow-green color. The yellow probably a little more predominant. Sometimes you'll even see some flecks of maybe a brown in there, though that's probably a mixing of the colors. At this point, most of my salts have burned up, and I am running a little low on my alcohol.
Use the rest of it.
I can't open the bottle until that one goes out.
Good job.
Let's see what we can do.
Sweet.
dang.
And as you go, please be careful.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Oh, cool.
I'll go get my
Look at this.
You guys should put this on your page so I can download it.
We'll see